got a slip in your palm and a hole in your chest. Black coffee on the felt, man, you look like a mess. 3-team parlay turned to dust in your hand. Now you stare at the chips like they made you this man. But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now. Hold on, hold on. Not tonight, not now. Hold on. Let me pull you out. That fella bites hard, but it don't get the crown.
What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Toadstool Sports. It is Saturday, July 11th. Did I get this? I don't know if I got this record right on the show. I'll make sure of it. I'll go back and look at what yesterday's was. 1-1 on the show yesterday, so hopefully I updated that tally correctly. It was a losing day. I mean, the under was a nice win with Cleveland and Miami in baseball, and then the Houston Astros couldn't get there. Hunter Brown, he walked too many guys. I mean, they were still in that game with Hunter Brown exiting, but the Astros offense also did not help us at all. I mean, Cal Quantrill was not exactly good. He had one strikeout, and the Astros got a decent amount of hits, and they couldn't score any runs off him, even though he was pitching to contact, and they usually hit him. So I expected that the Astros would have had more runs at that point. And then the Astros got to, they had to tease us by tying the game after they were losing 3-1. They tied the game against Texas's bullpen. So Texas's bullpen wasn't exactly good in the game because they had their best two relievers basically unavailable. It's tied. I'm like, oh my God, Houston's actually going to pull this off, win this game. No, then Houston's bullpen implodes and gives up 4 runs right back. They lose the game 7-3. I don't really think the final score really indicated what that game was. It was a close game. Both teams had 8 hits in the game, although obviously Hunter Brown walked too many guys. But still, the game was not a blowout or anything like that, but I'm pretty pissed about it anyway. We move on to today. I'm going to have 2 baseball plays. I'm going to have 1 World Cup play. I thought I might give out 1 in both games. I will give out 1. And I'm worried about it because the line is surprisingly cheap to me in a lot of ways in that game, and I'm just like I just think we have to do it. I don't know what else to say about it. We're either gonna win it or we're not, but I think we will. Charles, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. What the Cuba game? Cuba. What is Cuba doing right now? What? Norway. I mean, they're the most rootable team left, but obviously I need England to win if my bracket is going to do anything here. And I do not think Norway is going to beat them. All right. Let's get into baseball here. Cubs, what did I say about the... Oh, yeah, that's right. Good point. I'm pissed because, yeah, I was right about the under. I said that. Hunter Green, I knew he was going to bounce back, and I didn't do it. I was really more worried about Imanaga, and he was good enough in that game, I would imagine. I didn't really look, but it was a 4-0 final. Should have just added that to the card, the under. But I also like the over in the Yankees game, and that wasn't even close. So it was not even as close as it looked on the final score because Washington, they have no bullpen, and they gave up. Washington had the lead in the 9th inning, and they gave up 3 runs in the top of the 9th. So I'm not happy about that. Fuck the Yankees. Yes, Hunter Green, he's definitely good, dude. I should have just done it. I'm pissed. That was really close to making the cut for me. I think I liked that one better than the over in the Yankees game yesterday, too. God. And you knew that it was going to be a spot to get value on Hunter Green because he was just really good in his minor rehab stuff. He's a really good pitcher. He had a bad game last time. It was the spot to play on him in some way. All right. We move on to today. We have a doubleheader between Milwaukee and Pittsburgh here because they did not play yesterday. And I find it odd that the starting pitching is not announced in the first game, which is at 12:05 Eastern, because the pitchers that are announced in game 2, which is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, are, I believe, the pitchers that were supposed to pitch in today's game anyway. So is there a reason why it's not going to be the same pitching matchup that was supposed to happen yesterday? Like, I don't know why these pitchers haven't been announced yet. But yesterday was supposed to be Sproat against Ashcraft. And I would imagine that is what it's going to be because they're not scheduled to pitch game 2 unless these teams pull some late wonkiness here and they decide to switch their pitchers or whatever, reverse them in these games. So it makes it pretty difficult to handicap this. There are no lines on this first game, but like I said, if it is Ashcraft pitching, and it's not, Mizurowski from Milwaukee, basically, or it's, if it's Ashcraft against Sproat, let's say that, because I think Drohan is actually pretty good. If it's the same matchup, if it's Sproat versus Ashcraft, I am going to stick to what I said yesterday. You can go back and see how I analyze it. I think Ashcraft is good. I do think Sproat is better than he looks, but I would lean Pittsburgh first 5 in that first game if that is the same matchup as yesterday. Other than that, then I don't really have any read on the game otherwise. Game 2 looks like it's going to be Drohan and Chandler right now, which I think, again, was probably what was scheduled for today's game anyway, and it might wind up being this way. What I'll say about Game 2 is that I always say this, but the bullpens might get used up in Game 1, so a lot of times I like to either avoid the bullpens in Game 2 and just focus on the starting pitching matchup, or you could wait and see what happens in Game 1. I usually don't do that, but you could also look towards an over potentially in Game 2 just because if the bullpens are used up, it might start going that way. I don't think this is not a game I would really target the over, though, mostly because Shane Drohan is good. Now, we have 2 rested teams here, so I talk about when teams have rest, the first game that they play might have a tendency towards the under because the bullpens are completely rested. The hitting might be thrown off a little bit. Although I don't think I'd want to go that way either in that first game. Like I said, I think it's going to be, if Ashcraft is pitching, Pittsburgh first 5. If it's not that, then, then I don't really have a good read on it. Milwaukee has the better bullpen. They're ranked 8th in bullpen. Pittsburgh not good at 22nd. Offensively, Pittsburgh is better. They're number 2, and they're also really good at home. Milwaukee is number 9 offensively. Swap starters. Well, what do you mean? They're keeping their starters on time if they let them pitch today. There's no way it's going to be a bullpen game. There's no way. Unless something, I don't see any reason for that happening unless they're going to push every single starter back. Is that what you're saying? Why would you do that? Because you could throw, your guys that were scheduled to pitch yesterday, just pitch them today, and they're basically on the same rest. And then the guys that were scheduled to pitch today, pitch them in Game 2, so they're exactly on rest. It doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't do that. So I'm not expecting a bullpen game. I just don't understand why that first game isn't going to be either the same matchup as yesterday, or we just see the starting pitchers swap. One of the teams might swap the 2 starting pitchers. That's the only thing that I could see happening here. But I think you're going to see Sproat pitch today. You're going to see Drohan pitch today. You're going to see Ashcraft and Chandler pitch today. I would be surprised if that's not the case. It's just a matter of which game they pitch in. Whoa, well, that's good. 500. It's because I posted on Twitter. I should do that more often. Get people to do it. Anyway, Game 2, if it is this matchup, Drohan has a 2.97 ERA, 1.24 whip. He's not bad. He still doesn't have his picture on ESPN for some reason. Although Pittsburgh, they're a very intimidating offense at home, I will say. They're good at home. Drohan has been a little bit better on the road, 2.88 road ERA. He's continuing to pitch pretty well here. He's not giving up a lot of runs. He was pitching out of the bullpen for a while. He's got a reasonably low hit rate. His walk rate is not too bad. His strikeout rate is pretty good as well. So, yeah, generally pretty decent pitcher. His numbers, maybe lie a little bit. Like, I think probably he, based on what his numbers look like, his ERA should probably be somewhere in the threes. Pittsburgh only has 6 guys who have faced him, 12 at bats, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, 167 average, 481 OPS. And in fact, the only hitter who has any hits off him is Ryan O'Hearn, who is famous recently for hitting 3 home runs in that game the other day with 10 RBIs. I don't think he's going to do that again, but he is 2 for 2 with a double off of Drohan. Otherwise, Pittsburgh has nothing against him, so I generally think he'll pitch well here. Bubba Chandler for Pittsburgh, he's got major walk issues. Again, I think he'd be a pretty good pitcher if that wasn't the case. He's still young, so maybe that'll happen if he figures it out and stops walking people. 4.82 ERA, 1.44 whip, not that good. He's pretty similar home and away, a little bit better at home. 4.72 home ERA, I think is what that was. Again, he's just walking way too many guys, and he had no strikeouts last time out, along with 4 walks against Washington. That is not good. So, yeah, I wouldn't say he's in particularly good form right now, although he was pitching okay for a lot of the month of June there. Again, I mean, he's got a low hit rate, so he's hard to hit. His strikeout rate is decent, although I expected it to be higher, actually. It's gone down recently, but his walk rate is ridiculously high. Like, you cannot do this. He's walking... I mean, this number is ridiculous. 52 walks in 89 2/3 innings. You can't do that. And against Milwaukee, yeah, things have not gone well. They only have 5 hitters who have faced him, 9 at bats, but they have a 667 average and 1505 OPS, 2-2 strikeout walk ratio. I wouldn't want to put too much weight into that, but Chandler, I think he's definitely at a disadvantage in that game. I mean, if you wanted to force a play on this game, which obviously I don't recommend, but if you did play this game too here, and this is the starting pitching matchup, Milwaukee does have the better bullpen. I think playing Milwaukee on the money line might make sense in this one. I think they do have the pitching edge there. Maybe just focus on that and go first 5. I mean, those would be my opinions on that game. Milwaukee is taking the money there. 75% of tickets, 95% of the cash. They're at about minus 130 there on the money line. So you do have to pay a road favorite price on it, although it might be justified based on that starting pitching matchup. Although Pittsburgh, I mean, they're a really good offense at home, though. So really, there aren't many situations where they really should be that much of an underdog at home. So do with that info what you want, although it does look like Milwaukee has the edge if that is going to be the matchup. All right, that covers that doubleheader, which is difficult to figure out. Anaheim and Minnesota are playing, and it is another battle of Ryans. Joe Ryan is constantly facing guys named Ryan recently. Minnesota lost yesterday 4-3. I expected more higher scoring, but I wasn't really sure because I actually thought both starters in the game yesterday were a little bit under the radar, and it seems like that was the case. It might be the case here with Anaheim's starter here this time too, Ryan Johnson, who I actually don't think is as bad as his numbers make him look. Anaheim used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Minnesota used 2. This series does still kind of look like a series where you might want to try to find an over, but we got to see what the starting pitching matchup is going to look like tomorrow, because I'm not going to play an over in a Joe Ryan game, unless there's some crazy circumstance where he just gets absolutely rocked by the opponent, but that's not the case here. These bullpens both are pretty bad, though, which is why, maybe looking towards an over in this series can make some sense. Anaheim's 23rd, Minnesota 29th. They're debatably the worst bullpen. I mean, they're really bad. Minnesota's 8th offensively, and Anaheim doesn't do particularly well offensively this season. They're 21st, even though I think Mike Trout has remained healthy. Anaheim is going with Ryan Johnson, like I said. RJ versus JR here. Ryan versus Ryan. His numbers, I mean, they stink. 6.99 ERA, 1.55 whip. But like I said, this guy's a young guy, and there's a reason why he's in the rotation. It's because he's a prospect. I think he's not as bad as his numbers look, although I don't know if he's entirely trustworthy. He's been bad on the road, 8.1 road ERA, and that might not be good given that he is going up against an offense that can hit here. He really hasn't been that bad, though. Like last time out, Didn't really last that long against the Red Sox, but the fielding behind him has killed him. In his last 2 starts, he's given up 8 runs over his last 2 starts, when only 3 of them were earned. So the fielding behind him is not doing a good job at all. He's got good command recently. His strikeouts have been fairly good. His walk rate is pretty low, so I don't think he's that bad. Like I said, his numbers are being skewed a little bit by a couple of bad starts early on. One was at that A's stadium where, it's difficult to pitch. His hit rate is still too high. He is pretty hittable right now. His walk rate, it's not too bad. His strikeout rate is okay. But again, it looks like to me that he's actually starting to pitch a little bit better. Minnesota has 2 guys who have faced him, and they're 0 for 2 off him with a strikeout between Larnach and Lee. So do what you want with that info. But I think Johnson might not be as bad as he looks. Obviously, we know Joe Ryan. He's basically as good as he looks. He's sexy. 2.85 ERA, 1.04 whip. That's pretty good. He's a little bit worse at home. 3.21 home ERA. Still good. He was really good last time out after he was a little bit iffy in 2 starts. But again, I'm going to keep complaining about that one that we lost against Houston 2 starts ago where he gave up 6 runs and none of them were earned. Give me a break, dude. He bounced back and he really, really did well against the Yankees last time out in New York. So he looks like he's back on track. I don't think he's going to be in a letdown here, even though that was a big effort from him, a big win. He threw over 100 pitches, but he's done that before this year. He's a veteran. I mean, the last few times he's thrown over 100 pitches, he was fine in the next game, so I don't think that's really going to affect him. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, high strikeout rate, everything that you expect here. Numbers are pretty good against Anaheim at 44 at-bats, 15-1 strikeout walk ratio is really good, 227 average, 608 OPS. Obviously, Ryan is the better of these 2 starters. He's more proven, but you have to lay minus 180 with Minnesota here. If you're going to do that at all, you could, I guess, maybe attack the first 5 here with Minnesota, but I would probably not do that either here. You're just having to pay too much of a price for it, man. Everybody knows Ryan is good. We get it. 89% of tickets, 88% of the cash. Minnesota is a very public side with less of the money on them. I think a first 5 under actually makes some sense here, which I kind of said that yesterday, I think as well, with Zebulon against G-Rod in that game yesterday. This money's coming in on the over, though, although that's a full game market. 57% of tickets on the under, 82% of the cash on the over, 9 is the total, so it's right there at that key number of 9. It's expected to be a bit of a high-scoring game here, but I think it might be low-scoring early on, man. I think you have an underrated pitcher against a good pitcher, so do what you want with that, but yeah, I think, you could go under like 5.5 probably in the first 5. I'm avoiding this game, though. Joe Ryan, yes, I think he should do well against that lineup, as those numbers would suggest. 5 below. Is that that is a movie, right? It's a movie with sled dogs, if I'm not mistaken. Am I getting that right? I don't remember anything anymore, man. A's and the White Sox. The White Sox absolutely demolished the A's. And one thing I forgot to mention is that Murakami had actually been out for the White Sox since late May with an injury, and he's their best hitter. Well, guess what? He came back yesterday, and they scored 14 runs. Although the A's, they're a really bad pitching team, though, man. That was against Jacob Lopez, I think, and the A's bullpen. So not really surprising that the White Sox were able to put up a ridiculous number there. Kind of surprising the A's almost scored nothing, though. Even though Sean Burke is pretty good, but I expected runs on both sides there. I think my recommendation on that game was the over, and it hit just because the White Sox did all of it. Maybe the A's have an opportunity to bounce back here. That was an ugly, ugly loss for the A's yesterday. A's, they're not that bad. They used 4 relief pitchers yesterday. The A's bullpen is pretty bad. White Sox are the better bullpen, and they're pretty rested. They use 1 guy. I would not want anything to do with the A's bullpen. They're 25th. The White Sox are 19th. Not too bad. Their ERA right around 4. A's, I think their bullpen ERA is over 5. A's are 13th in offense. The White Sox are 11th now. I think it's close. Both teams could definitely hit here. We're looking at my boy, Gage Jump, is pitching for the A's. He's gotten a little bit worse. He's had 2 bad starts in his last 2 starts. 3.77 ERA, 1.3 whip now is not really that good. He's been really good on the road, though. And it kind of makes sense because pitching in that A's stadium is not easy to do. I think both of his recent bad starts were in that stadium. He's got a .49 road ERA. So he may do well here, even though the White Sox are a good lineup and they got their best hitter back. And, they do hit well at home. Jump, he got rocked by the Dodgers in the A's stadium. I'm willing to give him a pass for that, but then he did get hit around again by Miami in the next start. That's not great, and he only had 1 strikeout, so he's not really in good form right now. His hit rate is right at 1 per inning now. His walk rate's still decent, strikeout rate's still decent. I still think he's a good pitcher, and I would still lean more towards him doing well here than not. He does have an unfamiliarity edge here. He's not having to pitch at home here. White Sox, like I said, they've never seen him before, so that should be an extra advantage. When a young pitcher goes up against an opposing offense that hasn't seen them before, should be an advantage to them. And he's going up against a White Sox bullpen game here because they have Brian Hudson listed as a starter. He's whatever. He's only going to go 1 inning here, and then they're going to turn it over to Eric Fedde. I'm almost positive that's what they're doing here because it would be his turn up, and that's what they've been doing. They've been using an opener in front of Fedde. He's not good. 4.34 ERA, 1.45 whip. Not good, but he is not bad at home. 3.19 home ERA. So he's a little bit better at home. He's been serviceable recently, but his walk rate has still been pretty bad. I still don't think much of him. He's still got a pretty high hit rate here on the season. Walk rate is still too high. He's allowed a lot of home runs. He doesn't strike guys out. Nothing really good here. If you're going to play this game, again, I'm going to recommend picking Jump must start, but not selecting a White Sox starter because it's possible that Fedde just starts the game, although I think they will do what they're saying they're going to do here, and they're going to go with Hudson for 1 inning and then turn it over to Fedde because they have been using an opener in front of him. So I think they will continue to do that because he's actually been a little bit better when they've done that. Still don't trust him, though. His numbers against the A's are actually not bad, though. In 37 at-bats, 243 average, 700 OPS, 5 to 6 strikeout walk ratio is not good. But the rest of those numbers are not really that bad. So I'm not going to do it, but I still think the way to play this game is to play the A's in the first 5 innings and just go with Jump against Fedde / bullpen game here. I think the A's should have the advantage in the first 5. I want nothing to do with their bullpen. The money seems to agree with me pretty strongly, so this one was close to making the cut for me. 68% of the tickets on the White Sox, 95% of the cash on the A's, so the money really seems to be indicating on the A's here. The total's 9. The money's coming in a little bit on the under. I don't really have a good feel for that, but the A's have flipped to a favorite, it looks like. Actually, the White Sox have flipped to a favorite in most spots. So you'll probably get the A's around like a pick'em price. You might have to lay a little bit of a favorite price because I think the odds makers know that the A's are more it's more advantageous to play the A's in the first 5. So you will have to pay a little bit more of a price for that. But probably they'll be like a small money line favorite though. So that's how I would play that game. A's first 5 money line. All right. 8 below. Yes, right. It's a Southern discount store. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know those stores too well. I know Dollar General and Dollar Tree because those are everywhere. We even have them up here. Not as much as they are in the South, though. Yes, 8 below. I got that wrong. Yes, my memory about dog movies isn't very good. Yankees and Washington. Like I said, I'm pissed. Yesterday, Washington could have had that game, man. I thought that game was going to be high scoring, and it wasn't. And Washington had the chance to steal a game with Zach Littell pitching. They needed to do it, man. They were winning 3-2, and their atrocious bullpen threw the game away in the 9th inning. Pathetic. And Washington's not going to win this game. Spoiler, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to give out the Yankees either because you have to pay way too much of a price for it, but Washington's not going to win this game. Yankees used 4 relief pitchers yesterday, but they have the way better bullpen. Washington used even more. They used 5, and they took the loss. One of them was their opener yesterday, Palmquist. Washington is a bad bullpen. They're ranked 26. They're one of the bullpens with an above 5 ERA. Pretty bad. Actually, I forgot to mention, the A's actually have the worst bullpen ERA right now after yesterday. So they're bad. Washington's bullpen is also bad. Yankees have the best bullpen ERA, and they're ranked third right now. Really, they're ranked second in WHIP because they're tied with Miami, and they got a better ERA. Yankees offense is seventh and Washington third. I mean, they're close. They're both good offenses. Yankees probably are a little bit better, really. But the Yankees have Cam Schlittler on the mound, as you probably could have guessed. We did get a win with him last time he pitched because it was a great spot to play him off a bad start. The Yankees were in the midst of a bad losing streak, and we got them at a really good price on the road against Tampa Bay. You're not getting a good price here, but I do think Schlittler should do well. I mean, not going out on a limb there. 2.01 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. He's been even better on the road, 1.04 road ERA. Was really good in that last outing against Tampa Bay. Did throw over 100 pitches, but he has done that before, and he's still been fine after that, so I don't really think that's going to affect him. He's pitching well. I mean, obviously, he's the Cy Young front runner in the American League, and I don't even think it's really that close. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, high strikeout rate. All really good stuff there. Good numbers against Washington. They haven't really seen much of him. They only have 6 hitters who have faced him. 12 at-bats, no extra base hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 250 average, 607 OPS. Yeah, I think he'll pitch well, and he's going up against Miles Mikolas. So I would be aware that if you're going to play this game, you should select Schlittler must start, but don't select a Washington starter because they're known for putting an opener in front of Mikolas. Although they used Palmquist yesterday, they usually put P.J. Poulin in front of Mikolas. So they might do that here today. They might have already announced that they're doing that. I mean, I don't know. So far, no. It looks like it might be Mikolas. Mikolas isn't good. 5.78 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. He's been worse at home, too. 6.45 home ERA. Not good. He's given up 13 runs over his last 13 innings, but what they've done is they've just let him pitch. Which, you know, that is a strategy, right? Like, if you're going to have a bad pitcher in there, just let him eat up innings. You know what I mean? Spread the runs out a little bit. Like, he doesn't throw hard, so he doesn't really get, like, that tired, and he's at least somewhat efficient with his pitches. So leave him in and maybe have a chance to still win the game. And last time they actually won, he picked up a win. He went 6 innings and gave up 7 runs against Houston, and he got the win in the game. They won 12-11. Yeah, that was the game where I almost gave out the over as a play in that one, too. I'm pissed, man. Anyway, that's what Mikolas is doing. He's actually been good against the Yankees, believe it or not, in 71 at-bats, 239 average allowed, 663 OPS, 18-9 strikeout walk ratio. That's not good, but the rest of these numbers are actually reasonably good. Better than you'd expect. Like, basically the only guy in the Yankees lineup who has consistent success against him is Ryan McMahon, who saw more of him because he was in the National League for a while. I think the Yankees are going to win, but you can't lay minus 200 with the Yankees, man. I never do that in baseball. The money is actually coming in on Washington. 91% of tickets on the Yankees, 60% of the cash on Washington. Even though the Yankees have the advantage basically throughout this game, it's all about the price. It's too high. I mean, if you're going to play the Yankees, you could lay the run line with them, I guess, and it might happen. You'll at least get all 9 innings out of them. But, you know, the first 5 under is kind of an interesting look in this one. It sounds insane, but I just showed you what the matchup numbers look like. Schlittler should hold up his end of that bargain. 52% of tickets on the under, 88% of the cash on the under for the full game, under 9. I would not go full game. Don't want Washington's bullpen involved at all. But first 5 under, interesting. Very interesting. Mikolas might just stay in the game. Schlittler probably won't allow much. Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. And the Yankees, they hit better at home than on the road, although Washington tends to pitch a lot worse at home. So, yeah, it's not going to be a game I'm going to play, but, do what you want with that info. All right. Colorado and San Francisco. This game was kind of surprisingly low scoring, in my opinion, yesterday. I know it's not in Colorado. It's in San Francisco, so it's a more pitcher-friendly park. And like I said, I expect San Francisco's offense to go down in numbers again at some point, but maybe not here against Colorado's pitching. San Francisco took the loss 4-3 in the game yesterday, so it was lower scoring than I thought it would be. San Francisco used a ton of their bullpen, and their bullpen hasn't been good either, so that's not good. They used 5 guys. Colorado used 4. They have a really bad bullpen. San Francisco's bullpen is 24th. They have a mid-4s ERA. Not good. Colorado's is about 5. They're at 28th. Not good. Hitting-wise, Colorado's 4th. They continue to hit pretty well, although I don't think they're that good, and I don't think the Giants are 11th, tied with the White Sox. I mean, that's where they rank, but I think both offenses are a little bit overrated there. But I think Colorado's is better than San Francisco's. A tween Dollar General? That doesn't sound good. Yeah, Cam Schittler. I don't know. I just hate the Yankees, man. That's all I got to say about that. Yes, I mean, letting a guy like Mikolas just save your bullpen like that. I mean, that's why you do it, right? Like, you have a chance to still win that game, if it's a high-scoring game and it's it could be close. But the reason you do it is to save your bullpen. You know what I mean? Like, let your better relievers, take the day off and just use them in the next game or something. Like, that's the case. Like, if you know you're going to lose that game, you know what I mean? But, the game also might be close if your offense is as good as Washington's. In this game, Kyle Freeland is pitching for Colorado. He's not good. 7.46 ERA, 1.61 whip. He's somehow even worse away from Coors Field. 8.62 road ERA. Makes no sense to me. He actually hasn't been that bad this month. I know he gave up 6 runs last time out at LA, but he's got 9 strikeouts and 1 walk this month. That's not that bad, although he's been a bit hittable, but mostly it was that LA game. He pitched well against Miami. In Coors the start before that. He's kind of been alternating good and bad starts, actually, and if that's the case, this start would be a good one if he continues to alternate here. He's got a really high hit rate, though. He doesn't walk anybody, so that's good. His strikeout rate is mediocre, but he's just way too hittable. He gives up a lot of home runs. That's not good. Against San Francisco, he hasn't been particularly good. In 65 at-bats, 262 average, 879 OPS. They've hit him for some power here, 5 home runs off him. But he does have a 16-2 strikeout walk ratio against him. So, again, he doesn't really walk anybody, but he just throws pitches right over the plate. That's not good. Tyler Mahle is pitching for the Giants. He's not pitching well either. 5.7 ERA, 1.49 whip, but he's been way better at home. 3.32 home ERA. I tried to fade him at home a few starts ago, and it did not work out. The A's couldn't get to him. Since then, he hasn't been good, but it was 2 starts on the road. He did just pitch against the Rockies in Coors Field. Wasn't really good in that start. I mean, the fielding didn't really help him, but he gave up a lot of hits there. He didn't walk anybody in that one, but it was still not a good outing from him. He's got a high hit rate. His walk rate is okay. His strikeout rate is actually okay. Still, he's just too hittable. He gives up a fair amount of home runs. None of that is really that good. Against Colorado, he is not particularly good either in 37 at-bats, 351 average allowed, 811 OPS, 11-0 strikeout walk ratio, though, so that's at least good. But I think the way to look at this game, I would say, is probably the over. There you go. Like I said, it's announced. Sproat Ashcraft is game 1. I told you, dude. So same matchup as yesterday will be game 1 in Milwaukee and Pittsburgh as far as the announcements right now. So I'm going to stick to what I said. My lean in that game would be to Pittsburgh in the first 5 innings. That's the way I would play that. You have to pay a little bit more of a price for it if you do it that way. But the money's coming in a little bit on Milwaukee, but I don't really see that. I think Ashcraft is the way to lean in that one. Although Sproat isn't as bad as he looks, I will say that. He's got to shave off that mustache, man. Abrams and Woods, yeah. As far as Washington's offense, they're pretty good, yeah. I don't know the offensive players as much. I study mostly pitchers, and then I consider the offense to be like this nebulous thing, which maybe I shouldn't do because White Sox offense obviously was worse without Murakami. Freeland is not a free win. I mean, you can't really back Mahle, in my opinion. No, that's never the case. If that was the case, then literally everybody would just be taking money from the books. So no, it's not that easy. Again, I think that game is an over. That's the way I would play it. I wouldn't want to back Molly. Also, the public is all over San Francisco in that one. 82% of the tickets, 69% of the cash. So the money is fading San Francisco. The public wants nothing to do with Colorado. Minus 150 is the price. It's definitely too high of a price to land San Francisco. But again, I like the over in that game. Money doesn't agree with me on it, though. 77% of tickets, 52% of the cash on the over at 8.5. But I still like the over in that one. Red Sox and Mets. The Red Sox won yesterday. So Sonny Gray, another good performance yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Red Sox, they're playing well, man. They've won like 8 games in a row or something. They might not win this game because the Red Sox, it says undecided here, but I'm pretty sure they're bringing up a young guy to start. And it's interesting, at least, what the Red Sox are doing today. Red Sox use 3 relief pitchers. They have the better bullpen over the Mets, although the Mets aren't that bad. Mets use 4 relief pitchers. The Mets really haven't been that good recently out of the bullpen, though. Red Sox are ranked 4th. I believe they have the 3rd best bullpen ERA. They're a strong bullpen. The Mets are 11th. Mets actually, their ERA has really gone up. They're at over 4 now. That's not great. Red Sox also do have the better offense. They're 22nd, tied with Philly. Mets are 27th, tied with Toronto. So both of them have moved up a little bit. Red Sox, as far as I saw, they're going with, I forget his name, another huge lefty, because that's all the Red Sox have at this point. Yeah, Eduardo Rivera, is that his name? I see E. It's always Eduardo, right? Unless it's Elmer. I think it's Eduardo Rivera. I'm pretty sure is this guy's name for the Red Sox. I can tell you that he is a 6'7", 230-pound lefty. So he's another monstrous presence on the mound, left-hander for the Red Sox. Because, again, that's what the Red Sox have a fetish for huge left-handed dudes. Now, I think Rivera is not that bad. Like, his numbers in AAA are decent this year, but his walks are a problem. Like, he's very unhittable, and he has a good strikeout rate, so he has good stuff. He can strike guys out. He throws mid to upper 90s. He has a nasty slider, but he only has one other pitch, a changeup, so he doesn't really have, like, a full arsenal necessarily. Kind of looks like more of a relief arsenal, but he's got good stuff, and he can strike guys out. So it's interesting, but he's wild. He walks a lot of guys, so I don't know what you're going to get out of him. I think he actually pitched once for the Red Sox this year. I don't even think he's listed on their roster right now, though, so I don't know. Let me see. Did he pitch once this year or not? Eduardo Rivera, yes, that is his name. I'm going to look right now to see if he... I feel like he made one start this year, but maybe I'm wrong about that. No, he did. He started against the Yankees, or he made an appearance against the Yankees. It was a relief appearance. It was back on April 22nd. He went 3 1/3 innings, allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and struck out 3 at home against the Yankees. I mean, that might be a decent sign, dude. If he can come in, maybe it was a no-pressure situation, really, because it was a bullpen appearance, but it was a game against the Yankees, and it probably wasn't a game that was, like, out of hand or anything, so I don't know. That's a good sign. I think that he came in and gave you, like, 3+ good innings against the Yankees. So, yeah, Rivera, I mean, he's a real wild card, dude. He has some potential for sure, and he's young. He's 23. Yes, Freddie Peralta is pitching for the Mets. Not pitching well. We've made some mistakes trying to back him on the show. 4.68 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. I'm refusing to believe that he's that bad, though. Like, I just don't think that he is. He's 30 years old. We've seen what he's done throughout his career. I just think maybe, just mentally he's not really into it because the Mets suck. I mean, that's the only thing I could really think of. 4.07 home ERA, so he is better at home. He was not bad in his last start against Atlanta, but he was really inefficient with his pitches, which is why they took him out before he was able to get through 5 innings. The fielding wasn't good behind him at all. Gave up a couple of unearned runs. 2 starts before that, he gave up 3 unearned runs against the Cubs. So the fielding has not been helping him. I think he is still better than his numbers look. His hit rate is a little bit high on the season. His walk rate is about what you expect out of him. He does walk guys, but not horrible. Strikeout rate is still there. I mean, he's striking out almost 1 guy an inning, so I still don't think he's that bad. Could he do well here? Yeah, he could. But the Red Sox, they only have 5 guys who have faced him, but they have had success against him. They have 15 at bats, so they have a 400 average against him. Rafaela has a home run off him. That's the only extra base hit, though. 1,000 OPS, 4.0 strikeout walk ratio. This game is a real wild card, man. It's really unpredictable. Like, Peralta's obviously the way more established pitcher. He could pitch well enough to win this game. You're looking at the Mets being minus 150 here. The money is also playing the Mets. 55% of the tickets are on the Red Sox, 75% of the cash on the Mets. I mean, in a way, it looks kind of ridiculous to lay this price with the Mets. Like, I think the public is going to see that and not want anything to do with it because the Mets' record is even worse than the Red Sox record. So they probably don't want to do that. But on the other hand, I'm not sure that the Red Sox should be this big of an underdog. I mean, this Red Sox pitching staff has just been really, really good, almost regardless of who they put out there. It's like they put together a good pitching performance all the time. Like Patrick Sandoval pitched well for them the other day. And it's not like the Mets are that intimidating of a lineup. So, I don't know, man. I can't figure the game out. The money's also playing the over slightly at 8.5, but it is also a public over. So, yeah, that's not a game I'm going to do anything with. Gray was awesome, yes. He doesn't really strike that many guys out, but yeah. The whole MLB, well, the Red Sox, it's literally their entire rotation. And they're all, like, pretty good, too. Peralta, yeah, I mean, he's been pretty inconsistent. I don't know, man. Usually, I mean, he's been consistent throughout his career for the most part, though. Like, he'll have occasional really bad starts, but he's generally pretty good throughout his career. I don't know. The public is playing the Red Sox in this game, though. I mean, why would they have faith in the Mets coaching staff? I mean, the Mets fired their manager, too. Both of these teams fired their manager. This is the fired manager series, Red Sox, Mets. Both teams fired their manager this year. Cleveland and Miami, I will give out a play on this. Finally, I'm going to give you one play here. I have one World Cup play as well and two baseball plays. I'm just going to go right back to the well with this. This is going to be an under again in this one. I found it at under 8. I mean, a little bit juicy at minus 119, but you could get 7.5 at even money. Maybe I should recommend that way. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to between those two, I don't know, and it's less than minus 120, I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of go up to that next half run, but 7 is really the key number. There's not as much of a difference between 7.5 and 8, so under 7.5, again, I think should also be good here. I'm just going right back to the well and doing this again, man. It worked out yesterday. It was a 3-2 Cleveland win yesterday, so that worked out. Cleveland's bullpen, maybe a little bit of a concern. They have, they used their best relievers 3 days in a row, so they will not be available this time, but they're a decent bullpen, so I'm still going to stick with it. They used 4 guys out of it yesterday. Miami only used 1, and it was Ryan Gusto, and I would not want him in this game anyway if I'm playing the under. He might pitch again, although probably not. But their better relievers are all available here. And the bullpens have generally been good. Miami's ranked number 2, well, really number 3 in whip because the Yankees' ERA is also better, and they're tied in whip. Miami, they're not that good, but they're a good enough bullpen. Cleveland, I think, is good enough as well, even though they're ranked 17th. Their ERA is still well below 4, so I'm okay with these bullpens here. They were fine enough yesterday, and we get to extend the game a little bit. Hopefully the starters get extended, man. That's kind of what I want here. I want the starters to go a little bit deeper than 5 innings here. Miami is 6th in offense, but like I said, their numbers are skewed because they played all those games in Colorado and in the A's stadium recently. They're not going to put up offensive numbers quite like that here at home, especially against the pitching that they're facing here, which I know yesterday was Messick, and it doesn't really get any better than that in Cleveland staff, but I think we're still backing a very capable pitcher here. Also, on Cleveland's side of things, this is a bad offense. They're number 29. They're not that much of a threat, even though they actually won the game yesterday. But we're going to back Tanner Bibee here. I mean, I think he's not bad. He's got a 4.06 ERA. Again, his record sucks, but that's because he gets no run support. So, again, I like that. Like, I think I've played an under, on him maybe two of his last 3 games. I feel like I've given on an under. And I mention that every time because not only does he not really give up that many runs, but he doesn't get many runs scored behind him either. And I don't know if that's really a thing that you can really bank on, because it has nothing to really do with the pitcher, other than it's like the offense is like, oh, we can slack off because we have a good pitcher on the mound or something. But if that was the case, Messick wouldn't have good run support either. I don't know, man. Bibee doesn't get good run support, though. Do with that what you want, but I also am just going to back him because I think he could pitch well here. He's got a 1.14 whip. That's not that bad. Indicates that his ERA should be better than it is. He's slightly better on the road with a 4 ERA, but he's really basically the same home and away. He's fine. Wasn't good last time out against the White Sox. Gave up 6 runs, 3 home runs. It looks like more of a fluke, though, because he was really good in the entire month of June. The majority of May, he was pretty good as well, so I don't think he's like completely out of form right now. I think that might be a little bit more of an outlier performance, though it's a little bit questionable that he does not have many strikeouts over his last 3 starts. But one thing that you could point to is that he faced the White Sox on June 24th, and he did well. So then I think he was just not in a good spot having to face them again. I think they had just seen him, and they kind of just knew what he was going to throw at them, and they hit him way better. Sometimes that happens, even though they were already really familiar with Bibee, though, so I don't know. But whatever. I think I did give out an under on Bibee's first of those 2 games against the White Sox. I don't think I did it in the last game. Maybe I did and we lost. I don't think so, though. Bibee has a low hit rate on the season. That's pretty good. His walk rate's not too bad. Strikeout rate is not very high. I mean, he's just not really striking out that many guys, but I don't think that's ever really been like a huge part of his game. His home runs are an issue. He's given up 20 home runs, but I think this ballpark might be able to stifle that a little bit. Miami's ballpark is not that home run conducive, and he's pitched well against them when he has faced them. They only have 6 hitters who have faced him, so this is a lineup that it doesn't really have that much experience against him. They have no extra base hits in 17 at-bats against him, 235 average, 513 OPS, 4-to-1 strikeout walk ratio, so Bibee is fairly unfamiliar to them, and he has good numbers against them. So I think he should bounce back, put together a good performance here. And Miami's going to go with Yuri Perez, who is a guy that definitely has a whole lot of talent here. And he's really hard to pick up his windup. I mean, he's not a lefty, but he's another really tall mound presence at 6'8". And if you've ever seen him pitch, he has a really, really weird, like jerky motion, and it's hard to pick up his pitches. He's got a 3.84 ERA, 1.1 whip. He's been better at home, 3.23 home ERA. That's all good. I have one concern, which is that his last start, he was throwing a perfect game, and Miami took him out of the game. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. He had 7 innings, no hits, no walks, in the A's stadium, by the way, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. They took him out of the game, and they won the game 9-8, even though he went 7 completely clean innings. Miami's bullpen, what the hell happened with their bullpen in that game? I don't know. He still picked up the win, though. They didn't quite blow it for him. But he was excellent in that start. So I'm a little bit worried because a lot of times when a pitcher does have a start like that, they can be in like a letdown spot after that. But I don't think he will be because he didn't lose the perfect game. You know what I mean? They took him out. So I think he might just be fired up, like to go back out there. Like, why did you take me out? And the one good thing about it is it kept his pitch count down. He threw 92 pitches. So he should be pretty much ready to go again here. So that's not that bad. He's got a really low hit rate. He's really hard to hit. His walk rate is a little bit high. That's always been a bit of an issue with him. He's still young. And I believe he's already had 2 Tommy John surgeries too, but it seems like his stuff is here because he's got a high strikeout rate. So he is striking guys out here at a pretty good rate. But he's got to get the walks under control a little bit. But recently, he has 0 walks in 4 of his last 5 starts. So it seems like he's kind of figuring that out too. He's pitching well, and he's got a really good matchup here against a pretty weak Cleveland offense with a bunch of injuries going on. They got 7 hitters who have faced him, 14 at-bats, 2 extra base hits. They're both home runs from Arias and Quan, or Arias and Quan. 8 strikeouts, no walks, 143 average, 714 OPS, a little bit high because of the 2 home runs, but I'm not too worried about that. I think this is an under. That's what we're going with. You could go first 5 if you wanted to, if you want to exclude Cleveland's bullpen because they are in, slightly bad shape here. The money is not agreeing with me, and the money's backing the over, but the odds makers are telling you low-scoring game by lining this game at 8 or 7.5. I see the 8 still around the price that I gave out at whatever book this is. I can't see the header here. Got to hide the FAQ. That's at the Lion book that starts with the M. 54% of tickets, 82% of the cash on the over, but I'm going under. I think it's another under game. Money is backing Miami here. 79% of tickets, 91% of the cash on them. I don't know if I agree. I mean, that price is a bit high, minus 150 for Miami here. I think you're paying a lot for Miami, dude, just because they've been recently playing really well. But I don't like that, especially because Miami lost a big win streak yesterday. They had, how many wins did they have in a row before yesterday? 6? So I don't like that. When a team has a big win streak going on and they lose the win streak, it's like it disrupts their momentum, and a lot of times it hangs them over into the next game. So I don't really like Miami that much here, even though I think you could definitely make the argument Perez is the better of the two pitchers. But, I mean, if it's going to be a low-scoring game, like I think it is, Cleveland has a chance. I think if you're going to try to fire on Cleveland, I think I would do it in the first 5, though, because I don't think their bullpen is necessarily going to be able to hold up to Miami's, given what the spot looks like there. But I'm going to give out the under as that play there. Yes, under. Yes, Jose Ramirez. Well, they're missing a few other guys, too, I think. They're missing, I don't even remember their names. They're missing, like, a few of their starting hitters, though. Bibee, he's better than his ERA suggests. I think his whip is basically indicative of what he is. I don't really use the advanced analytics that much. I think the advanced analytics guys will basically be in agreement that he's similar to what, I think they'll say that he's similar to what his numbers on the surface suggest. I think it's probably what their opinion would be. Seattle at Tampa Bay. I mean, you can just go look. I mean, they use StatCast, I'm pretty sure is what they use, and they just look at the expected ERA and whatever. I'm too old school with baseball, so I don't really do that. Tampa Bay won 7-2 yesterday. I thought Seattle might have a decent shot at winning that game yesterday because I thought Luis Castillo was a little bit under the radar and it started pitching well again. But nope, Tampa Bay got the win 7-2. This might be the spot, though, and in fact, I'm actually giving this out as a play as well. The best bet segment is 2 games in a row. I'm going to recommend Seattle Moneyline here in this game. I think they're going to beat Tampa Bay in this one, man. I think we're backing the better pitcher and the better bullpen here. Seattle used 4 relief pitchers yesterday. Yeah, I mean, a little bit concerning. But a couple of their better relievers didn't pitch yesterday. I still don't think Tampa Bay's bullpen is that good. They used 3 guys. Tampa Bay's ranked 7th, but their ERA's in the mid-4s, so I'm still not really trusting that ranking. Like, I think they're more of a mid-tier bullpen, and Seattle's ranked 15th, but their ERA is like 0.8 runs better than Tampa Bay. So I like Seattle's bullpen a little bit more than Tampa Bay's here. Hitting-wise, Tampa Bay does have the edge. They're 9th tied with Milwaukee right now. I don't think they're quite that good. Although I know Tampa Bay is good at home, and I know we're fading them here in Tampa Bay. I get it, but they did lose 2 games to the Yankees here at home. Recently, although I know Seattle is not the Yankees, but I think Seattle is a little bit better than their record might suggest. Seattle, they're struggling offensively. They're at 25th, tied with Arizona, but I think their offense is better than that would suggest. I don't think they're that bad. And we're going to back Logan Gilbert here. Logan Gilbert has been really, really good recently and really for the most of the season. 3.19 ERA, 0.95 whip, and he's been really good on the road. 1.73 road ERA. So I'm going to jump in and back that too, although as I was pointing out, I backed him in one of his home starts recently. His home ERA is misleadingly high. Like, he's given up a bunch of home runs at home, and it makes no sense because Seattle's not a home run conducive ballpark at all. And his opponent batting average at home is almost as good as it is on the road. So I just think he's good either way, but we are backing the better of his home road splits here. He's been really good recently in general, though I know his last road start wasn't that good against Cleveland, but he got a little bit unlucky. I mean, he went 7 innings, had 7 strikeouts, no walks. So he was still good. He's been dealing, dude. His strikeout rate's been high recently for the last month plus. That Cleveland game was the only game since May 16th where he allowed more than 1 run. So, or excuse me, it was one of 2 games where he allowed more than 1 run. Sorry, he did it at home against the Mets too, which, not a great sign, but whatever. He's pitching really well though, for the most part. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, high strikeout rate. All those numbers look good, indicate that he's legitimate. Numbers against Tampa Bay, I know they're not excellent, but that OPS is still below the 750 threshold that I look for. 280 batting average, I know that's not great, but they only have 6 guys who have faced him, 25 at-bats. I mean, the only guy that really has a large sample size that's done okay against him is Yandy Diaz, so I'm really not that worried about this. 717 OPS is still not really that high. 6-3 strikeout walk ratio. The way he's been pitching, I'm going to take him over Griffin Jax, even though I know Jax has been pitching pretty well for Tampa Bay. And, you know, I mean, the question is, like, is Tampa Bay going to put an opener in front of him? I don't think they are, because he's made 13 starts now. So I think probably you could just pick both of these starting pitchers must start here. He's been starting, so I expect that'll just continue because he's been pitching well. But I know we're going to fade him here, even though he's been pitching well. But if you look at what he's been doing, I mean, some of these offenses in here, Kansas City, even Miami, I don't really think is as good as they look. Detroit, and he didn't do well in that start. Anaheim, I mean, those are not great offenses here. Washington is, and he did pretty well there, and he did fairly well against the Yankees last time out. So, yeah, I mean, that's not a bad sign, but I just think he's just nowhere near on the level of Gilbert. Even though he does have a decently low hit rate, his walk rate is a bit high, though. Strikeout rate is decent, pretty high, actually, but still, I don't think Jax is really that good. I know 3.6 ERA, 1.22 whip, not bad. I'm still not fully buying it, though, and I'd much rather have the much more proven pitcher here in Gilbert. Jax has not been good against Seattle in 37 at-bats, 378 average, 1,111 OPS, 9-8 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to back Seattle here. I think we have the better starting pitcher here. And I guess it's not going to do any harm to pick Gilbert must start, but don't pick Tampa's starter because it's either going to be Jax or they're going to throw an opener in front of Jax, but I think it will just be Jax. The money is backing Seattle pretty strongly here. Getting them is really kind of a slight underdog price, which I kind of like because I don't think they're that bad of a team. And I think they have some edges here. 53% of tickets on Tampa, 91% of the cash on Seattle. So I think the money is in agreement with this. Total 7.5, so it is a low total. The under is getting money. I do agree with the under as well, kind of. I mean, both pitchers have been pretty much pitching well, but Jax does have those really bad matchup numbers there. So I'm playing the side here with Seattle, but under, I wouldn't really disagree with it. 61% of tickets on the over, 65% of the cash on the under. Total's pretty low, though. It's basically hanging around 7 at most books there. It looks like you can get an under 7, maybe at minus 120 at some of the books out there. At the book that is the scoreboard book, if you know what I mean, that used to be the ESPN one. Do what you want with that info, but those are my 2 baseball plays there, back to back. All right. Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit won the game yesterday, 10-2, blowout win for Detroit. They won 6 straight games, or something like that. Detroit is on a roll right now. They're not dead yet, man. Boston and Detroit, they're both still in the mix here. Their American League is so bad that both teams could easily still make the playoffs. Detroit could definitely still win their division. Red Sox are not going to win their division, but they definitely have a shot at a wild card still. So anyway, I don't think those teams are dead yet. I don't think they're going to pack it in yet. Detroit has a really difficult task here going up against Christopher Sanchez, but this looks like a really good pitching matchup, at least on the surface. And when I first looked at this, I was like, oh yeah, that looks like an under. But I'm going to stay away from this one, and you'll see why when I get to it. Just the way that I handicap this. Philadelphia used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. They have not been good out of the bullpen recently. Detroit used 3, but not very heavy usage here. Detroit's bullpen's been all right. They're ranked 16th, but their ERA is below 4. Not too bad. Phillies is well above 4 at this point. They're 21st, mid-4s ERA. Yeah, that's not great. So Detroit's got a bullpen advantage. Detroit has had the better offense, too, at 19th. Philly tied in 22nd with the Red Sox. Yeah, not great for Philly here. And Philly is not as good on the road at hitting either, so that's the spot they're in. Detroit is a pretty good home team. So Philadelphia, may still be up against it a little bit, but they're going with Christopher Sanchez, and he was awful in his last start against the Royals, but I did mention that he has bad numbers against the Royals, dude. I don't know why, but the Royals have been able to hit him throughout their careers. I expect him to bounce back. He's too good, pretty much, not to. By the way, he's a Red Sox profile pitcher there. Like one of you guys said, a lot of lefties, tall lefties. Sanchez is one of them. 2.62 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. Still really good stuff, even after his last bad start. But he's been bad on the road, believe it or not. 5.32 road ERA, and his opponent batting average is really bad. 327. However, those numbers are definitely being skewed by this game against Kansas City. It was bad, dude. 9 earned runs allowed on 12 hits in 3 1/3 innings. He's not going to do that again, I don't think. He's been alternating good and bad starts. However, his last 3 road starts have all been pretty bad. So that's something to keep in mind. So that does worry me a bit. He wasn't that good against Washington, wasn't that good against Milwaukee. The start against Washington, I would say, was a little bit better than it looked because the strikeout walk ratio was good. But yeah, I mean, he's been a little bit questionable on the road recently. His hit rate has gone up a little bit. It's still lower than 1 per inning. He has a really low walk rate, so he's kind of corrected that, which was kind of an issue earlier in his career. Still has a high strikeout rate, a lot of ground balls induced too. He's still a good pitcher, man, and he does have good numbers against Detroit, but they really just don't have much experience against him. They have 5 guys who faced him, no extra base hits in 14 at-bats, 143 average, 343 OPS, 6-1 strikeout walk ratio. So I do think Sanchez more than likely bounces back, pitches well here. Detroit's going with Casey Mize, and he's been good as well. 2.64 ERA, 0.98 WHIP. That's pretty good. He's been good at home, 2.12 home ERA, so he has the way better of the home road splits here. He pitched well against the Yankees 2 starts ago. Was a little bit questionable in the prior 2 starts, one of those also against the Yankees. Pitched reasonably well last time against Texas. Overall, I mean, he's got good numbers. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, reasonably high strikeout rate, too. There's not a lot to dislike here about what Mize has been doing. However, his numbers against Philly are not good. This worries me. 22 at-bats, 364 average, 1,000 OPS, 8 strikeouts, no walks. It's a small sample, though, and, you know, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I totally buy it. So I still think an under probably makes more sense than anything else in this game. But, yeah, I mean, those matchup numbers for Mize are a little bit concerning, and Sanchez's road struggles are concerning, too. So it's like, which one of those do you want to weigh more heavily? You know what I mean? Like, I think the better way to look probably is still the under and just lean into both these pitchers are generally good. We have 67% of tickets, 77% of the cash on the over, though. But it does look like it's a little bit of a public over. Maybe because Sanchez got annihilated in his last game and the public doesn't really know who Mize is still probably. 7.5 or 7 is the total there. It's low. It's low for a reason. I still think under does make some, probably first 5 under, though, because Philly's bullpen is really something you want to avoid at this point. So first 5 under probably makes some sense. It'll be a low number, though, 3.5 probably. Money is also slightly backing Philly, although they're public. 70% of tickets, 73% of the cash on them. They're at minus 130 something. That's tough to gauge, man. I mean, they're a public side. You could make the argument that Philly just shouldn't be that heavy of a favorite on the road against a good home team in Detroit, and with Mize on the mound, who's still pretty good. If you're going to lean into the matchup numbers, though, then Philly should have the advantage in the first 5, so you could do that. But you're going to have to pay a big price for it. Like, you'll probably have to lay a half run with Philly in the first 5 if you want to do that. I don't like that much. If you're going to lean into the home road splits, then you might be able to grab Detroit as an underdog here. And I would say if you're going to do that, you should do that in the full game and take advantage of their bullpen. And they might be able to pull it out. But still, I think maybe a first 5 under is the better approach there. But you can see I have some questions about that game. Kansas City and Baltimore. This game, I mean, this series looks like it should be a series where a lot of runs are going to get scored because neither bullpen is very good, especially not Kansas City's. Kansas City, though, they don't hit well on the road, although Baltimore, I mean, their stadium is definitely a bit more of an offensive-friendly stadium. Yesterday, Baltimore won 5-3, so that game did stay under. Baltimore used 2 relief pitchers. Kansas City used 3. Kansas City is not a good bullpen. They're ranked last, but debatably are better than Minnesota, but who cares? They're a really bad bullpen. Baltimore is middle of the pack at 13th, although I think they're a little bit worse than that would suggest. So I don't really love these bullpens that much here, although Baltimore's is certainly better than Kansas City's. Offensively, these two teams have been doing all right recently. Kansas City is 16th right now, and Baltimore tied at 17th with Texas. But Kansas City, they haven't been that good on the road, man. I don't know. Looking at this matchup, it's kind of a hard pitching matchup to figure out. Kansas City's going with Noah Cameron. I mean, I generally kind of like him. I think he's fairly good. I think he's better than his numbers make him look here. He was better last year, but his numbers aren't great. 4.77 ERA, 1.45 whip here this year. He's been better on the road, though. 4.38 road ERA, so he is in the better of his home road splits here this year. He looked good in his last outing against Philly, but he had a ton of walks. He got lucky, dude. You can't walk 5 guys plus allowing 6 hits in 5 innings and somehow limit your opponent to 1 run. Yeah, that's almost never going to happen. So he's not pitching well. Like, his previous 4 starts were all pretty questionable. His walk number's gone up. This is not good. I don't think he's in really good form right now. He's got a high hit rate. That's a problem. His walk rate is not horrible, but it's not really that good either. Strikeout rate is okay. That's right in line with what you usually get out of him. Baltimore hasn't really seen him, though, so he might have a little bit of an advantage here. They only have 2 guys who have seen him, Alonso and Ward. Ward is the only guy who has a hit off him. It is a single. They're a combined 250 off him, 750 OPS, because Alonso does have 2 walks, and Ward has a strikeout as well. But whatever. I mean, Cameron, he might have a little bit of an advantage here because he's unfamiliar to Baltimore's offense, but I don't know if I trust him with how he's been performing recently. Baltimore's going with Kyle Bradish, and now I think he's not bad, but he's not as good as his ERA indicates. 3.75 ERA, but he's got some walk issues, man. He's got a 1.4 whip. That is not good. Like, he's getting away with putting guys on base right now. He's been better at home, though, for sure. Like, significantly so, actually. 3.44 ERA, but his opponent batting average is significantly better at home. It's below 200. Pitched well last time out against Cincinnati, but his walk rate was a concern throughout the month of June. So do what you want with that. He pitched well as far as the amount of runs he was allowing in the month of May, but his walk rate has been an issue all season. He's thrown a lot of innings. He hasn't allowed that many hits. His strikeout rate's pretty good. Got a lot of ground ball outs here as well, but his walk rate is bad. Like, that's his one main issue, is he's walking almost 1 guy every 2 innings. You cannot do that. So that's his main issue. But if he doesn't walk that many guys, he's actually a good pitcher. But he's got to figure that out. Against Kansas City, he hasn't been good. 24 at-bats, 333 average, 887 OPS. Again, the walks have kind of been an issue there. 5-4 strikeout walk ratio. I don't know if I fully trust him, man. I don't know how much I trust either pitcher here. I mean, I think probably this game does look like more of an over than anything else. The money seems to really agree with that. 56% of tickets on the under. I don't get that. I don't think the public is coming in and playing this game under. 85% of the cash on the over, though. The total's right on that key number of 9. So you can get right on that key number if you do want to play that. I think the over is what makes the most sense in that game. The starting pitching is difficult to figure out because I think Cameron basically has the better matchup here, but Bradish has been the better of the 2 pitchers. So I don't know what to do with that. Baltimore is favored by quite a bit, minus 150 something here. Maybe that's a bit too much of a price to be laying. I mean, does Baltimore with Bradish on the mound, do they really deserve to be that heavy of a favorite? I feel like I said that yesterday, though, with Young on the mound, and they still won. But, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's really deserved. 81% of tickets, 86% of the cash on Baltimore. So the money is backing Baltimore a little bit. They're a public side, too, though. I don't know, man. It's a tough game to figure out. Most of the rest of these games are pretty difficult to figure out, so I don't have any plays on them. I'll be right back, and then I will talk about WNBA, and then I do have a World Cup play. We have 2 World Cup games, and I like both of them, but I settled on one play that I think is better than the rest. I'll be right back. Yep, inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight, it was just complete bullshit. So So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. With I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. All right. Next game up is... Where did I leave off? Houston, Texas. Don't even want to talk about this matchup. Yeah, Houston got right back in that game yesterday, and then their bullpen completely blew it after Texas's bullpen blew it. 7-3, like I said, it wasn't really totally indicative of what happened in that game. The game was closer than that. But Houston, we did lay a price with them, so it was a losing day yesterday. The day before that was exactly a break even. I forgot the banner. Oh, no, I didn't. I was going to say I forgot the banner. I did not, though. But I do have to look and make sure that it's right. I'd forget if I updated it. Anyway, Astros used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. Texas used 3. I think the bullpens are close. I mean, Houston wasn't great yesterday. They're back to 18th in bullpen. Their ERA is a little bit higher again. Texas probably is the better bullpen. Yesterday, part of it was that they had used their better relievers the day before that, but now that's not the case with Texas. They've been not quite as good recently, though. They're at 10th right now. But Texas, yeah, probably is the better bullpen. And, given the rest scenario, I think that probably works out that way. Houston, I think, is the better offense. They are 14th right now. Texas 17th, tied with Baltimore. We know Texas doesn't really hit that well at home, though. I do keep pointing that out, although they did wind up with 7 runs. But again, they had 3 runs yesterday until that 8th inning explosion. So still, Texas has a tendency to play low-scoring games at home. In my opinion, this might be one of them. Peter Lambert is pitching for Houston. He's been pretty decent this year. 3.26 ERA, 1.15 whip, not bad. A little bit better on the road, 3.08 road ERA. Was pretty good last time out against Tampa Bay, shut them out for 5 2/3. He's not going that deep into some of these outings here, but he's been generally pretty good. Low hit rate. He has not been very hittable. His walk rate is a little bit of an issue. It's a little bit high. Strikeout rate is mediocre. But yeah, I think he's an all right pitcher. Again, I just think that his career kind of got totally thrown off by the fact that he was in Colorado's organization. And I think pitchers just die in that organization. Against Texas, his numbers are a little bit all over the place. In 38 at-bats, 237 average, 878 OPS is not good, though. 9-5 strikeout walk ratio, though Jock Peterson has done a lot of that damage. So if he can get around him, he might do a little bit better. Possible player prop potential there. Peterson, hits plus runs plus RBIs over. But, yeah, I don't know, man. And some of that might have been Lambert in the past, too. I'm not sure. He might pitch all right here. Kumar Rocker's pitching for the Rangers. He's been okay. 3.95 ERA. His whip suggested his ERA should be higher than that, though. 1.34. That's not that good. He's been a little bit worse at home, which usually, that hasn't been the case with him. Last year, I'm pretty sure he was definitely better at home. 4.2 ERA at home this year, though. But it's still a more pitcher-friendly park, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Wasn't really particularly good last time here at home against Detroit. I think I might have lost on an under in that one. I don't remember. He was pitching fairly well prior to that. The 2 starts prior to that were both pretty good. his numbers, I mean, his hit rate is reasonably low. His walk rate is too high. Like, he's got to fix these walks. That's his main issue. His strikeout rate is not too high, but that's not really his thing. Against Houston, he actually has been pretty good. In 17 at-bats, 235 average, 690 OPS, 4-1 strikeout walk ratio. One extra base hit allowed there, which is a home run from Yordan Alvarez. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this game could be an under. Maybe it'll be an under, the minute that I don't want to jump on an under in a Houston-Texas game, although I wasn't on the under yesterday, either in a Texas home game, I mean. I wasn't on it yesterday, but this game might wind up being one. Totals at 8.5, 52% of tickets, 87% of the cash on the over, though. I think a first 5 under might be the better way, and maybe avoid Houston's bullpen again there. The money's also backing Texas. I do agree with that. 51% of tickets on Houston, 61% of the cash on Texas. Looks like a little bit of a pros versus Joes kind of market read there. Texas is a small favorite, like minus 117. I think they do have the bullpen edge, and I think Rocker at least has the matchup edge, which is what I just showed you there. I think Lambert is probably the better of the two pitchers generally right now, though. So, I don't know. I like those things to all kind of coincide, but yeah, I'm not playing that game, obviously. All right, yeah, hopefully that was all I needed to say about that. ESPN Unlimited has Chicago, Cubs, and Cincinnati. Hunter Green bounced back yesterday, 4-0 win for the Reds yesterday. I'm pissed I did not put that under on my card because I liked the under, the first 5 under. I think either one of them hit in that game yesterday. The Cubs used 2 elite pitchers. Reds, not a good bullpen. They used 2 as well. Let me make sure that was the case. Whoops. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to download this web page. No. Hold on. Let me just make sure of this. Yeah, it was under through the first 5 for sure. Cincinnati scored 3 runs in the 7th inning. Yeah, so both starting pitchers did well yesterday. This game, I would not be inclined to play an under in this one. I will say that. The Reds' bullpen is bad. They're at 27th. They're not very good. The Cubs haven't been good really out of the bullpen recently either. They're down to 14th. They're better than the Reds, but they have not been doing well recently. Cubs' offense has been good. They're at 5th. The Reds' offense is still not doing too well at 24th. But still, this game, I mean, these pitchers are nowhere near elite, let's say. Javier Assad is pitching for the Cubs. His numbers are all right. 4.15 ERA, 1.1 whip. Some of that was coming out of the bullpen. He's not been good on the road at all. 5.9 road ERA. So he has extreme splits, and he hasn't been good on the road. Last time out against St. Louis, he held them scoreless, but he didn't make it 5 innings. His last few starts really have not been impressive, especially given that it was against St. Louis, San Diego, the Mets. I mean, those are not great offenses there, so I don't like what I'm seeing. It looks like Assad was just really good against San Francisco, and he's just not good against anybody else. So I don't trust him here. He does have a low hit rate. Walk rate isn't too bad. Strikeout rate is really low. He doesn't strike guys out. Against the Reds, he's actually done all right, though. In 64 at-bats, 234 average, 679 OPS, 21-8 strikeout walk ratio is not that good. But the rest of those numbers are pretty good, so maybe he at least draws an okay matchup here. But I don't think I trust him, and I don't think I trust Nick Lodolo on the other side either for the Reds. 4.68 ERA, 1.46 whip. That is not good. Nick Lodolo, although... I mean, if you look at what he's done throughout his career, I think he is probably better than these numbers suggest, but he's not having a good season. He's been bad at home, 5.5 home ERA, so both of these pitchers are in the worst of their home road splits pretty significantly here. Although he pitched well, his last 2 home starts, he actually wasn't too bad, although one was short, 4 innings against Milwaukee. I don't know why they took him out of that game. Maybe I don't know what happened in that game. Rain delay, maybe? I'm not sure what happened there. But he was pitching well enough. He should have stayed in that one. But he's allowed only 1 run over his last 15 innings. So he is pitching better recently. And 2 of those games are at home. So, he's in better form right now at the very least. He's got a hit rate that's a little bit high on the season, though his walk rate, given, how many innings he's pitched, that walk number is too high. Strikeout rate, not particularly good. Against the Cubs, he's not good. In 100 at-bats, they've seen a lot of him. 320 average, 918 OPS, 24-13 strikeout walk ratio. None of those numbers are good. Ian Happ and Nico Horner both do a lot of damage against him. Suzuki also does. So do with that what you want. But there are a few bats in that lineup that do damage against him. I think this game reads as an over to me, but you do have to put... you have to go over a really high total in this one. The total's 10. It's a hitter-friendly park. I mean, the total is high for a reason, and the money is still backing the over. 53% of tickets, 93% of the cash on the over. I don't quite want to do it. I mean, again, Lodolo is at least in better form here recently. Assad is in the worst form, but has the better matchup numbers, so it's like, where does this game go? I don't know. I still think the safest way to go is the over because you're at least backing a couple of bullpens that I think are pretty fadeable right now. The money is backing Cincinnati for what that's worth. 72% of the tickets are on the Cubs, 66% of the cash on the Reds. The public is, of course, going to back the Cubs because they're actually a slight underdog here. It's basically like a pick-em price. Public is going to be on that team that has the better record. Money coming in on the Cincinnati. If you're going to play Cincinnati, I think you should do it in the first 5. There's no way that you could back that bullpen. Do with that info what you want, but I still think the over is the better look in that game. Gerald, what's up, man? No, I've not been able to go 2-0 for a while. Somewhat treading water. I mean, yesterday was a loss. I'm not happy about that. I'm trying to do it here, man. The goal today is 2-1. I have 3 plays today. Atlanta and St. Louis. St. Louis won the game 2-1 yesterday. Interesting. Dude, I told you not to play Atlanta yesterday. Again, just too heavy a price to pay on Chris Sale there. And St. Louis was able to hold Atlanta's offense down. Atlanta's offense has not been particularly good recently. Atlanta, they do have the better bullpen. They have some usage recently. They use 4 guys out of the bullpen. St. Louis, not a great bullpen. They use 5, so you still got to give the bullpen advantage to the number 1 bullpen, still Atlanta, even though the Yankees have a little bit better ERA. I still think Atlanta is the best bullpen here. St. Louis, maybe I'm biased. St. Louis, no, but the numbers suggest that just because their whip is better, and the ERA is not significantly worse. St. Louis has not been very good. They're 20th in the bullpen. I mean, they're not like a horrible bullpen, but they're not great. Kind of middle of the road, obviously. St. Louis is 20th in offense, which isn't really that good either. Atlanta is 15th. Atlanta really hasn't been doing that much offensively recently. They've been better on the road, I think, at hitting this year. St. Louis has been worse at home at hitting this year, so keep that in mind, I guess. But I think we're looking at at least a pitcher-friendly ballpark here. However, I don't like these starting pitchers. Ronaldo Lopez is pitching for the Braves. He's basically back in their starting rotation because of injuries, although he's been okay. 3.18 ERA, 1.27 whip, although a lot of that is out of the bullpen. He's been slightly worse on the road, 3.48 road ERA. Opponent batting average is way worse on the road, though, so he's not as good on the road. He was good. He actually faced St. Louis 2 starts ago, and he pitched well in that one at home. Held them to 1 run in 5 innings, but he's not really going deep into these outings. Seems like maybe they are ramping up his pitch count a little bit here, but I don't know if I would bank on him going more than 5 innings this time out, though. Although he was decent in his last 2 starts against this St. Louis team and against the Mets. But St. Louis, having just gotten a look at him, may do better this time out. Lopez overall does have a pretty low hit rate. His walk rate is too high, though. Strikeout rate is okay, but those walks are definitely an issue. Numbers against St. Louis are good, but a lot of it was that 1 start last time out. 22 at-bats. They only have 1 extra base hit. Double from Herrera. 8-2 strikeout walk ratio. 0.91 average. 296 OPS. Those are good numbers. He matches up well against St. Louis, and he's going up against Matthew Liberatore, who is not good. 5.34 ERA, 1.53 whip. He's only slightly better at home, 5.24 home ERA, very minimal there. He was okay, I guess, in his last 2 starts. One of them was actually against the Braves. He hit them through 5 innings and allowed 1 run, but he walked 4 guys, so that's not good. He struck out 9, which I don't expect that to happen again. I mean, he's not a strikeout pitcher. His strikeout rate is kind of mediocre. Hit rate is too high. Walk rate is too high. I mean, not really a lot to like here. Fair amount of home runs allowed too, although that number should be down a little bit pitching at home, but still, this doesn't look great here. He has been good against the Braves, though. It wasn't just that one recent start, and maybe the Braves turn it around and do better here, but 46 at bats, 16-7 strikeout walk ratio, that's not good, but 152 average, 498 OPS. Liberatore, he might actually pitch well here. I mean, it might sound a little insane because this pitching matchup doesn't look good on the surface, but this game might be an under. Maybe first 5, and then you can avoid St. Louis's bullpen, and Atlanta's bullpen's not too well rested here. Maybe a first 5 under in this game makes some sense. The full game total's at 8, so it's probably a 4.5 in the first 5. The money's coming in on the under. 65% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the under. I highly doubt any of that is public money. The public is not playing an under in a Ronaldo Lopez Liberatore game. There's no way. The money is significantly backing St. Louis. 78% of tickets on Atlanta, 86% of the cash on St. Louis, getting them as a small underdog price there. I think the argument is just that this game could be close. I would only do that in the first 5 if I was going to play St. Louis. You do not want their bullpen. Maybe Liberatore can keep it close. I don't even think I would want to bank on that, though. I mean, Lopez has pretty good matchup numbers here as well. I think I lean Atlanta in this one probably, even though it worries me because it looks way too easy to take Atlanta, the team with the better record, as a small underdog. That looks way too easy to me, so that's not exactly something in my repertoire. Playing on Ronaldo Lopez, frankly, is not necessarily really in my repertoire either, but I don't know. The way that game looks, I think maybe Atlanta in the full game has enough advantages to pull that out, but I don't know. Whip it. What did I say about whip? Oh, the whip. Yes. Dirty Sock. What's up? Yes. Oh, thank you. 500 subs. It'll drop right below 500. I don't think I'm able to monetize yet, but I don't know. I might have to look. You might have to have 500 for like a certain amount of time or something so that they're sure that you're going to maintain that. But I posted on Twitter. Maybe I should keep doing that. I mean, it doesn't take anything to just subscribe to me, at least. I mean, you don't even have to watch my videos if you subscribe, but they'll show up on your recommended videos, man. But maybe you'll be interested in all this autism. Toronto and San Diego. On the surface, this looks like a big pitching mismatch that favors Toronto. And maybe it is, but they're an underdog here, and that worries me because it looks kind of easy to play Toronto here. I mean, it's not like San Diego's been playing that well. I mean, they're below 500, although I believe Toronto probably has a worse record here. Yeah, but it's only slight, though. Toronto's won 3 games in a row, though, and they won yesterday, too, here in San Diego. So it looks a little bit easy to play Toronto here. They used 5 relief pitchers yesterday. That's not good. They're an okay bullpen, but I think San Diego's is better. San Diego's seen some usage recently, but their better relievers did not really come into the game yesterday, so they're decently rested here, in my opinion. They used 3 guys yesterday. San Diego's only ranked, where are they? 12th in bullpen, but I keep saying they're better than that. I think that continues to be true. They're up against Toronto, who is ranked 9th in bullpen. I think they're not quite that good. They're an okay bullpen, though. Neither offense has been good. 27th for Toronto, tied with the Mets. That's not good. San Diego is still dead last, and the Mets have kind of left them in the dust. Yeah, that's not a good sign. And this is a pitcher-friendly park here, too, so there are numerous things that make this look like an under, and maybe that is the better way to approach this game. Toronto has Trey Savage pitching. He's good. 3.31 ERA, 1.08 whip. That's good. He's been better on the road, too. 2.36 road ERA. Should probably pitch well here. I mean, he's been pitching well recently. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in his last 3 starts. That's pretty good. Really low hit rate. He's been basically unhittable. His walk rate is too high, though. That's his one issue, is way too many walks. Strikeout rate is all right. He might pitch well here, though, because he's going up against a weak offense in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and they've never faced him before. So, again, I will say that it's an advantage to a talented young pitcher when the opposing offense has never seen him before. So, Savage, I think, does line up to pitch well here. He's going up against Walker Buehler. I laugh, but maybe Bueller might actually pitch okay here. He's not great, obviously. 5.07 ERA, 1.39 whip. He's better at home, which makes sense because this is a more pitcher-friendly park. 4.06 home ERA. His opponent batting average is way lower at home. Wasn't good in his last home start, though. He got a little bit bombed by Arizona, but it was a little bit misleading. 7 runs in 5 innings, but it was on 7 hits and 1 walk with 4 strikeouts. So he got a little bit unlucky there. He was legitimately bad in the previous start at the Cubs, but I think that was one of those games where they were playing in like a hurricane in Wrigley Field. You know what I mean? It was one of those games where the total was like 13 and wind was 50 miles an hour, maybe not quite that, but strong winds blowing out there. So I'm not going to really put much weight into that. Bueller was actually pitching really well throughout the month of June. Yeah, obviously he's not in excellent form right now, but I don't know, man. I think he might kind of come back into form here in this one. His hit rate is not really that good. His walk rate is just okay. His strikeout rate is just okay. Obviously none of these numbers are great, but again, he pitches better at home. He was pitching better up until those last couple of starts, and only really I'm kind of questioning both the legitimacy of both of those starts. Against Toronto, he's been good on 41 at-bats, 171 average, 618 OPS, 12-3 strikeout walk ratio. Those numbers are not bad. Yeah, I think under is probably the way to look. These bullpens are both, I think, decent enough. Maybe you got to worry a little bit about the usage, but I think the bullpens can kind of get it done here. Money is backing the over a little bit here at 8, but 50% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the over. I just don't agree with it. I think the under is the way to play that. I probably wouldn't disagree with Toronto in the first 5. I think Savage is just the better pitcher over Bueller. So I probably agree with that. The money does agree with that. 60% of tickets, 87% of the cash. That's full game on Toronto, though. As a little bit of an underdog. I think if you're playing them first 5, you're going to be paying a favorite price for them, but it probably won't be too high. It'll be a little bit of a favorite price there, but I think that's probably the way because Toronto's bullpen isn't the better one, and it's unrested. But I think Savage may have the upper hand over Bueller there. So Toronto first 5 makes sense, but I still think the under is what makes the most sense to me there. Then we have Arizona and the Dodgers. This is hour and a half just for baseball here, man. The Dodgers got bombed yesterday, 9-3. Ohtani didn't actually pitch in the game, though, so I don't know what happened there. Ohtani was supposed to pitch, and Dodgers announced late that they were going to go with a bullpen game, so I don't know what the hell went on there. Ohtani was in the lineup, though, and he hit a home run, but then nothing went well for the Dodgers after that, but it was a spot bullpen game. That's not good, and that might carry over to this game. So the Dodgers have a really used bullpen here. They used 7 relief pitchers yesterday. The good news is if you tried to play that game and you specified that Ohtani must pitch, you were probably banking on Ohtani in some way there, and it didn't happen, so your bet didn't count, so at least that's good. But yeah, the Dodgers, this is a used up bullpen after yesterday. 7 guys. Yeah, that's not good. Arizona's bullpen is not horrible, and they use 3 guys out of their bullpen. They're ranked 5th, and the Dodgers are ranked 6th in bullpen. I still think the Dodgers are the better bullpen in general, but in this game, given what the rest looks like, you might have to tilt the bullpen towards Arizona here. Dodgers are obviously the way better offense. They're number 1. Arizona number 25, even though they broke out yesterday. Tied with Seattle for what that's worth. This game looks like a big-time mismatch in favor of the Dodgers here. Brandon Pfaadt is pitching for Arizona. He was in the minors for a while. I think they brought him back up, and, maybe he might be pitching a little bit better, but he's got a 4.84 ERA, 1.34 whip. It's a little bit weird because he's not that old, and he was a decent pitcher for a while, so I don't know what his deal is. He's been better on the road, though, 4.19 road ERA, so at least there's that, although his opponent batting average is actually higher on the road. But as you can see, I think he was in the minors since his last start against the Dodgers. That was the last start. That might not have been a start. That might have been a relief appearance, actually, but he didn't do well in his last outing, which was against the Dodgers. His last outing before he went to the minors, I'm pretty sure they sent him to the minors. They brought him back up, and he's actually pitched well twice. He pitched against San Francisco, though, at home, and then on the road at San Diego. Needless to say, the Dodgers are a way better lineup than San Francisco and San Diego, so I don't really know how much weight to put into that, but maybe Pfaadt, he's been given another chance. Maybe his confidence is boosted a little bit by being back in the majors and having a couple of good starts under his belt. He doesn't do well against the Dodgers typically, though. 131 at bats. They've seen a lot of him. 29-8 strikeout walk ratio, 298 average, 850 OPS. So this is probably not a game where he's really going to do that well. And he's going to have to go up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is obviously the better pitcher here. 2.49 ERA, 0.88 whip. He's been a little bit worse at home. 2.67 home ERA, still not bad. He's basically been in good form all season. I mean, when he has a bad start, it's a little bit of a fluke usually. He's pitching well. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, high strikeout rate, or not really that high of a strikeout rate actually, but reasonably high. He's good. We get it. He's good against Arizona as well in a big sample. 87 at bats, 22-5 strikeout walk ratio, 172 average, 505 OPS. Dodgers look like they have a huge edge here in the starting pitching, maybe not so much in the bullpen. You got to pay a massive price if you want the Dodgers here, though. They're minus 270 something here. You can't do that, obviously. They're public. 95% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on the Dodgers. If you really want to play the Dodgers, I mean, I think you should just focus on the starting pitching edge and find some way to do that. Maybe like a Dodgers run line in the first 5, but the price is so high. You're probably laying like -1 run in the first 5. It's an option, and maybe it's one of the better options in this game because I would not want the Dodgers bullpen here. The money is backing the over. I don't know if I see that. I mean, another way to play this, I mean, you're going to lose the edge that you get with Yamamoto, but another way you could play this is to play Dodgers just to go over their team total and just wail on Brandon Pfaadt. I mean, you could do it that way, and the Dodgers should bounce back to some extent here. If you do that, you're probably needing to score 6 runs, though. So, obviously they're capable of doing that, though. Maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the best approach. Because you could look, Arizona team total under, but I would worry about the Dodgers bullpen giving up some runs there. Yamamoto should hold up his end of the bargain. So maybe if you find a book that gives you the real granular option of Arizona under their team total in the first 5, you could do it that way and just focus on Yamamoto dominating them. But there really aren't great options to play that game, man. It's just the way that it is when there's just an obviously huge mismatch. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for getting me subscribers there. Any way that I could do it, man. All right, we got some WNBA here. There are actually a couple of interesting games here. The big game is the big ABC afternoon game between New York and Minnesota, which is probably the best team in the East against the best team in the West, even though Minnesota did not make the Commissioner's Cup final. They probably didn't give a shit about it. Minnesota is still without Collier, who is looking like she's supposed to be back soon, but it's not going to be in this game. You got to think Minnesota's showing up with focus here because they did just lose in New York by double digits back on July 3rd. So they may have some adjustments to make there. They just had a pretty bad performance against Connecticut, really twice. Kind of explainable in a return home spot coming off that big game against New York. They did not play well against Connecticut. Lost the game. Bad. Connecticut's a really bad team. I thought Minnesota would bounce back and play better on the road after that against Connecticut again, and they did win, although they didn't cover. I think they probably were just looking ahead to this game. They're coming off a couple of really ugly performances, man, so you got to think you're going to get Minnesota's best effort here. In revenge, quick revenge. This is a big game for them. Maybe they even in the back of their minds want to prove like, hey, we could have been in the Commissioner's Cup final, especially because New York won it against Vegas. I think Minnesota might be thinking, well, if we win this game, we'll prove that we're better than Vegas too. You know what I mean? I don't really want to fade the Liberty here, though, either, because they've not been playing great basketball recently. They lost a couple of games on the West Coast trip on the road, came back home, huge win over Minnesota, and then I believe I gave you guys a play on Dallas in the next game there, in the Liberty's last game there. Dallas got a win there. in an upset. I think it was a letdown. I said it was a sandwich spot. It was the Juicy Lucy. That's right, which makes more sense in a female sport too. Yeah, because that's what you want. You want these WNBA players to be gushing their cheese all out into your mouth. That's what you want. I'm going to get banned, man. I'm probably not. YouTube probably allows that. They allow degeneracy. But yes, the Liberty could be in a bounce back spot because they lost to Dallas as a pretty big favorite. I mean, that wasn't good, obviously. You can kind of explain why they lost that game too. I think they just were in a sandwich spot. They were coming off a big win against Minnesota. They were overlooking Dallas. They had this big game against Minnesota on deck too. I think that's what happened. I'm going to lean Minnesota here, but I think both teams show up for this, so it's not an easy handicap. The money's backing New York. Minnesota's a 5-point favorite. Well, that's one of the other things. Why is Minnesota a 5-point favorite here? They were going to be a 1.5-point favorite. Like, is Collier actually coming back? I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with this number here. New York has 55% of tickets, 89% of the cash on them, by the way, for what that's worth. I want to figure out why this line moved now, though. The game in New York recently, comparing the number here, Minnesota was a 2.5-point favorite in that game, though, and that was obviously without Collier, so that's in line with them being a 5.5-point favorite here. If Minnesota was 2.5 on the road, then they should be about 5.5 here, so I guess it's probably Miles, I guess would be what's going on. Olivia Miles, the star rookie that Minnesota has, she must have still been out. I think that's probably what's going on here. Let me see. Did she miss that last game? Yes, she did. All right. So I think that's what's going on. Miles, she might be back in this game. Let me see. What's the news on her? We don't have any news on that. I think that's why, though. I think she's coming back. So that actually makes me not like Minnesota as much. Like the spot makes me think Minnesota at the -5.5, but I think Miles, coming back, it's going to be the reverse injured player theory. You know what I mean? Even though she's a rookie, she's one of their best players. She's going to be rookie of the year, whatever. So I think because that's going to skew the number a bit, and Minnesota got used to playing without her a little bit. I always talk about it, reverse injured player theory. She has to work her way back. The team has to get used to their roles against that. Actually benefits New York a little bit in this game. So, yeah, I'm not going to play this game. I mean, a game where both teams are going to show up and under seems to make some sense at 172.5. The total hasn't really moved at all. Actually, it's moved up a little bit in some books. But the tickets look like they're all over the under. It looks like the public is playing the under, which makes no sense. I mean, the public doesn't play unders. But a game where you have two pretty good defenses that should focus on defense in this game seems underish to me, but the market read looks like it's playing the over, so I don't know what to think about that. Portland at Atlanta, I mean, we get into some mismatches here. CBS and Paramount Plus, Atlanta's the way better team. Atlanta ended a losing streak with a win over Seattle the other day, so that should benefit them. I mean, they just beat one of the worst teams in the league, Seattle, and they ended a losing streak. Most of those losses were on the road. 3 of the 5 were against Golden State, which maybe they don't match up well against Golden State. Golden State's a pretty good team, so I'm not going to put much weight into Atlanta's bad losing streak. I think they're a pretty good team, and I think they're in a good spot because ending a losing streak a lot of times will give you new momentum moving forward, and they do not have any big games upcoming, so they might just show up here and win the game, They already did win in Portland, though, by 20 points, so they also might take Portland a little bit lightly this time. So a concern if you're going to try to lay a ton of points with Atlanta here. Portland, I mean, they're not really that good, really. I think these expansion teams might start showing a little bit of weaknesses because I think, even though these teams need to develop their chemistry, right? Like these expansion teams, they go through an expansion draft and they wind up with players that aren't used to playing with each other, which is bad because they have to gain chemistry. But on the other hand, teams have never seen these teams before. These are new teams, so the opponents actually are at a disadvantage early on too because they don't know what these expansion teams are going to even do. You know what I mean? So that's a benefit to them. So I think maybe that's why these expansion teams looked pretty good at the beginning of the season, but I don't think either of them are that good. Toronto really blew their game yesterday against Dallas. Toronto, I think, was winning that game in the fourth quarter and lost the game. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, Portland, they're coming off a pretty big performance against, well, not really, actually, against Vegas. I think they only lost by 8, but I actually think they were losing. most of that game by a huge margin. But they're coming off a big game, at least against Vegas. But still, they're starting a new road trip here. I know it's with only one day off. They had a few days off before that Vegas game. I don't think they're going to overlook Atlanta, man. I mean, usually you want to get the road trip off on the right foot. Atlanta's a good team. They lost at home by 20 to Atlanta earlier in the year, so I think they're going to show up. I think it's a spot where both teams probably show up here, but you're probably not really getting much value laying 13.5 points with Atlanta. And the money is indicating on Portland. 71% of tickets on Atlanta, 68% of the cash on Portland. Atlanta, again, I don't really think they have anything upcoming, though, so I don't think it's that bad of a spot for them. The market read is saying to take Portland plus the points. I could see the argument for it. I might even slightly lean that way, but I don't have a strong opinion on that one at all. And then Phoenix is playing at Las Vegas on Peacock and NBC Sports in the evening, early evening, really. Actually, back out on the Pacific Coast, it's an afternoon game for Vegas. Vegas, they won against Portland, like I said last time out. I don't think they give a shit about that. That was an easy win for them. They'll probably show up in this game against Phoenix, but I don't know, because Phoenix, they're a little bit under the radar, though. They're better than their record looks. Well, maybe Vegas might actually look ahead because they do have another TV game on NBC and Peacock tomorrow against Caitlin Clark. So they might look ahead to that. They're playing Indiana tomorrow. That is going to be interesting, man. So they have to play on a back-to-back. Vegas, by the way, they have not played since the Commissioner's Cup game. Or no, that's not true. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I hear ESPN does that. No, right, they played against Portland 2 days ago. I'm like, that makes no sense. Yeah. They played 2 days ago. I don't know why ESPN moves the Commissioner's Cup game down like this. It makes it look like it was the most recent game. It wasn't. But yeah, Vegas, I mean, the one worry is they might look ahead to that Indiana game because, of course, Caitlin Clark, it's always, a big thing when you have to play against that team. Indiana... Or excuse me, not Indiana. Who are we looking at? We're looking at Phoenix here. Indiana's nemesis. I can't get it right. Shit. Come on, man. Yeah, this is going to be a long show. It's already a long show. But we're almost done with WNBA. I don't like this WNBA board anyway. Phoenix, I think they're better than their record looks, man. They're at 8-15. They did just lose a close game to Indiana. I don't really think they're going to overlook Vegas here, starting a road trip. It's a big deal. They're playing Vegas and Minnesota here Saturday, Monday. I think they'll probably get up for this game. But again, that was a big game still against Indiana. Those teams really don't like each other. And that was kind of a rubber match after each team won one of the games in Indiana. Indiana came in and beat them in Phoenix. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of this game. The money is indicating towards Phoenix. 69% of tickets on Vegas, 52% of the cash. Laying 10. Vegas is a 10-point favorite here. So I think basically the professionals, I think, are just saying we see some value in taking that many points with Phoenix. And maybe that's true. I mean, Vegas has not been a good home team, dude. So that's one thing. Like, Vegas has really not done well as a big home favorite this year. And I've given out, I think, 3 plays fading them at home this year. One of them, I think, lost with the Sky, although I think they should have covered that. But whatever. Money is also strongly on the over in that game for whatever that's worth. And looking like it's back in the over in the Portland-Atlanta game, too. Both totals in the 170s. I don't know, man. It's not something I'm going to deal with. And then we have World Cup, 2 games. One is late afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's in Miami. Norway and England is the game. Norway, I believe, is traveling in from New York, New Jersey, I think is where they were. Yeah. They're coming off a big game against Brazil. And I think Norway might look a little better than they are, man. Although I know Brazil basically was going to end that game with no goals, and they got a penalty shot right at the end of stoppage time. I think it was just, I think the refs did it intentionally because they knew that Neymar was going to, I think he retired, right? I think they knew that, and they were like, whatever, just give him a penalty kick. Let him get a goal at the end. Really stupid. I gave out Norway as a winning play in that game. However, if you look at the box score, it wasn't all Norway in this game. Now, Norway did a good job dominating possession, so they did that well. But Brazil gave themselves a lot of good opportunities, and Norway, their goalie, made a lot of good saves. Brazil won the expected goals in that match, 2.6 to 1.05. 2.61 to 1.05. That's not a great sign for Norway coming into this, and everybody expects, a lot of offense out of Norway. Holland, This Brazil game, though, that was a nothing game, 0-0 game until the 79-minute mark when Holland scored, and then he scored again at the 90 mark. I don't know if that's going to happen again here against England, who is really an elite defense, man. I think England's being overlooked, dude. Norway, I like them. I like Holland. They're pretty easy to root for, and, in my heart, I'm going to root for Norway, and I'm not a fan of England, and the way that they, shit on Boston, and they're a bunch of redcoats and whatever, but I think England is going to win this game, and that's who I picked in my bracket. Norway with their offense with Holland. They're getting all the hype right now. It looks really good that they beat Brazil, and nobody expected them to do that except me because I gave them out as a play, and I picked them in my bracket. England, I think people are still thinking that England's not really that good. Oh, yeah, people are thinking that England got lucky against Mexico. I don't think so, man. They had so many disadvantages in that game. They had to play Mexico in the Estadio Azteca at high elevation, like 10,000 feet in the air, whatever, in Mexico City in front of a hostile crowd. And England, did a good job just taking the game. England went out to a 2-0 lead. And then when it was 2-1, they came back early in the second. Harry Kane he did get a penalty kick. I will give you that. It was a penalty kick. But England, 3-1. Yeah, I mean, they did a good job early on in that match. England was dominating that match until they got more disadvantages. They got red carded. Kwanzaa, not the fake holiday, but Kwanzaa got a red card, which, by the way, means he's not playing for England today. That's how it works. If you get red carded, you're suspended for a game, which is stupid, but at least he's not one of their top tier players here, but he won't be able to play. But they don't have to play the match down a man though, right? He's just not eligible to enter the game. And then Mexico got a penalty kick right after that too. So Mexico got a penalty kick as well. So there were a lot of things that were kind of handed to Mexico in that game, and England overcame all of it and won. Now, my worry would be how tired is England going to be after that? Because I think they played that game later than Norway did. England is having to come up from Mexico. They're playing today in Miami. Having to change elevations here. That worries me a little bit, although I like England in this game. I think they're the better team. I think they're going to win. England, by the way, I mean, you can see that Mexico wound up winning the expected goals and possession in that game. That was because they swung all of that after the red card. England had to play they basically had to play, yeah, they did, including stoppage time. They had to play 40 minutes down a man in that one, and they still won. So I think because they were down a man, that shifted some of the stats towards Mexico, which otherwise wouldn't have happened. Because when England was at full strength, they were winning that game statistically. I like England in this one. I think they're under the radar. I think Norway, I thought Norway would be a public side, although I looked at Action Network, and England actually is more the public side, and Norway appears to actually be getting some of the sharp money. I don't think I really buy it, though. I think if we're going to play this game, I think I would play England in some way. Now, they're minus 105 to win in the first 90 minutes. You could play it that way. They might be able to get it done in the first 90. It's a reasonable price at minus 105. You could also play them to advance, but what's the number you have to play on them to advance? Let me see. It's actually not that bad, I think. Hold on, let me see. To advance. No, it's minus 200. I mean, that's a bit bad, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if you play this game, because I do think England's going to win. Whoops. Yeah, I think you just play them at minus 105 in the first 90. Maybe they'll get you there. Maybe they'll win without it going into extra time, man. I think there's a reasonable likelihood of that. That's the way I would play that game. I'm not going to do it, though. I do think it's going to be lower scoring, too. So, I think this is going to be a very popular, both teams to score bet here where everybody's just going to bet that at minus 150, even though public doesn't usually lay prices like that. I think that's going to be a very popular play, both teams to score. I don't know if that's going to happen here, man. England, they play really, really good defense, man, and it might be able to stifle Norway. I mean, Norway, they have not played a defense like this. Brazil is pretty good. Brazil is the best opponent Norway's faced so far. And yeah, that's impressive. And it's probably actually better than anybody England has faced so far. England, they faced the best opponent was probably Croatia. So that does worry me a little bit that Norway is a little bit more battle tested. Although remember, Norway didn't play any of their starters against France because France was actually the best team they faced, obviously. But Norway's starters didn't play in that game. So do what you want with all that info. But I lean England, and I would probably play it in the 90 minutes if I was going to play that game. I think England is going to win. I have them advancing in my bracket at least. Yeah, I like Holland, but yeah, I think, I kind of want my bracket to do well and to be right as well, though. Argentina and Switzerland, I'm going to give out a play in this game. I'm going to do it one more time here, man. Because I just don't buy any of this. Like, so many people are talking about how bad Argentina is because they didn't look good against, Cape Verde, and then against, who did they play in their last? Egypt, I think. I'm going to counter that. Like, if you look at the stats in those games, I gave out a play on Argentina, I know. If you look at the stats, Argentina played way better than what it looked like on the scoreboard. So I think Argentina is going to win this. I actually think they're being undervalued. I'm going to just give this out, Argentina to win the game in the 90 minutes at minus 140. I thought it would be a higher price, dude. I really did. I thought it would be like minus 170. Switzerland is pretty good, and they're better than Argentina's previous two opponents, but I'm not buying it, dude. Argentina, I still don't think they're going to really have that much of an issue here. And I believe Switzerland, one of their best players, I'm pretty sure, is out for this game, if I'm not mistaken. I forget who it is. Let me see. Is there any news here? Let me look at who's on their squad. Let me see here. I'm not going to remember the name, but one of their best players, I'm pretty sure, is out for this game. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a cheap price. You do need Argentina to win in the first 90, so it cannot go into extra time to win this. But this price came out way cheaper than I thought it would. So that's what I'm going to do. Argentina to win in the first 90. I mean, if you look at what they've done, they're getting blasted because, they almost lost. Almost lost to Cape Verde. Almost lost to Egypt. Okay, well, did you actually look at what happened in those games? Argentina against Cape Verde, I pointed this out when I gave out a play on Argentina in the next game. Argentina expected goals 2.26 to 0.47 in that one. They had twice as many shots on goal, double digits, and 64% of possession. They dominated the game. They should not have even been close to losing that game, okay? Same thing, Argentina against Egypt. Very, very similar. Look to these stats. They were down 2-0. It was bullshit. Look at the stats in this game. 2.84 expected goals for Argentina. 0.89 for Egypt. This is, again, it's completely misleading. They won the possession battle pretty significantly again. They had more than 3 times as many shots on goal. More chances. They were the better team in the game, the better offense. Again, 2 very misleading results that also should kind of scare Argentina into some real focus here because they have to face a real opponent now, okay? I know, it's not Cape Verde or Egypt anymore. Sorry, but they know that too. They're going to step up their game to face Switzerland, and really I think Argentina lucked out getting to play Switzerland here in a game where Switzerland, by the way, they're having to travel from Canada here, I think, down to Kansas City. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage. Coming in from Vancouver, I mean, I don't think that's that great. And Argentina, I believe, is only coming from Atlanta. I think that's what it is. I'm not going to look. I'm pretty sure that's right. So I think Argentina's travel spot's a little better to get to Kansas City. And I think Argentina got a good draw here, man, because I think they wanted to avoid Colombia. I think Colombia is better than Switzerland is. Switzerland pulled off the upset there. Colombia was the favorite in that one. Switzerland won on penalty kicks. So Switzerland is coming off a dramatic finish, dude. Like, I know Argentina's was dramatic too, but still, Argentina won this game in regular time, right? Like, Argentina they got a scare. They pulled it off. They won in regular time. Switzerland had to play extra time and go to penalties and have a dramatic finish to upset Colombia. So they're coming off an upset, whereas Argentina's coming off a big-time scare as a big favorite. So, yeah, I like Argentina. I think we're getting a pretty good price here. One other option here is I was surprised that this number was so cheap. You can play Argentina over 1.5 goals in the first 90 minutes in this game. It needs to be in the first 90. You can get that at like minus 105. So that seems like a really good approach in this game too. Play Argentina to score over 1.5 goals in the first 90 minutes of this. Switzerland's a good defense, but I think Argentina probably will be able to accomplish that too. But I'm just going to go with them to win in the 90 minutes. I think they're going to do it. They've played a lot better than what we've seen so far. I think this game, I think this price is cheap based on what we've seen recently. I think Argentina is better than Switzerland by more than what that number is suggesting. So that's what I'm going to go with. That's my one play in the World Cup today. Let's get it done, man, and that's going to do it. The plays today are, again, we're going right back to an under in Cleveland and Miami in baseball, under 7.5 or under 8, whatever the best number is. I know there's a little bit of juice on that under 8, but whatever. 7.5, I think, is still a decent enough option there. We're going to be on the Seattle Mariners on the money line. I like it. I think we're back in the better picture there. I think they bounce back. I think it just looks too easy to play Tampa Bay, too, the team with the better record. I think Seattle's a bit under the radar there. And then we're going to be on Argentina, money line in the World Cup in the first 90. Let's get it done. Let's get some wins. We need that Argentina one to come home, man, because that's the biggest favorite we're laying here. So let's do it. No, they should not be minus 250. The odds makers are not that far off. On the three-way line, no way. No way. They're minus 300 to advance, which that even seems cheap to me. Again, I think a fair price on Argentina in that game is about minus 170 on the three-way line. I think that makes sense. 140 is cheap. 250, no, absolutely not. Let's get this done. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. Like, subscribe to the channel here. We hit 500. Let's keep it there. I'm going to see if I can monetize this thing. Get everybody to watch this, man. I'm giving out winners. You can see it. We're still running, I think, above 60% here. We were almost 67% for over a month, I think. And, of course, we were going to cool off a little bit. But been treading water a little bit recently. Let's get back on track here. Go on another heater. Come on. Listen on audio as well. Apple, Spotify, Spreaker. Check it out. Covered in Uke on YouTube. I did do a Uke cover yesterday, but my voice is still not really doing it, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, again, a lot of it is because I'm doing this show. I don't know, man. I gotta just like lower my voice here. I need like an actual good voice monitor so I can hear myself, and then that will let me lower my voice a bit. I gotta figure it out. What else do I have to plug here? Covered in Uke on YouTube, patreon.com/learntotoad if you want to support me that way. I can't really do the requests right now because most of them are going to involve my voice doing something I can't do right now. And Losercast every Tuesday night. New York Giants G-Spot podcast should be back at some point. I'm early today, I know. I woke up a little bit early. I also got to get out of here. I'm not going to be around. Let's have a good Saturday. Let's get wins today. Peace.
But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now.